We celebrate it by making so-called surprises, which are, like the name hints, usually boxes made out of usually paper mache, designed after someone's interests, and you don't know who made it. In it is always a small present. Considering we're all around 12 or 13, we don't really know everyone that well yet. Basically, all of them suck. Rumor gets the worst of all. 2 fucking socks rolled up with a present in it. Rumor is fucking quiet until the end of the celebration when we all hear who made whose surprise. Some girl has made Rumors. Rumor walks up to her without any emotions on his face. Rumirbo mode activated. Starts throwing punches to her face. Teacher gets him off of her. Rumor spits in teacher's face and runs out of the classroom. Teacher goes after him. After 5 minutes, Rumor is standing in the doorway with the creepiest facial gaze I've ever seen. Like the intro shot to A Clockwork Orange. The gaze is so creepy it takes me about 5 seconds to realize he's butt naked. Without doing anything, he suddenly walks away. Never were we offered an explanation. The Rumor Saga Part 6. Pat, 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 pat. Rumor wasn't allowed to be at school for about 2 weeks after the previous incident. Fast forward 3 weeks. During shop class, I start talking to Rumor so he doesn't notice someone is tying his shoelaces together so he'll fall when he tries to stand up. Considering we're in 7th grade and Rumor is about the single least sexual person in human history, I think it's funny to start talking about fapping. Do you ever get an erection and, stroke it until you lose it? He starts his signature butt dance.
Yes, I do.
I did not expect this answer.
Do you have an internet connection?
Yes. Mind you, not every 12 or 13-year-old had an internet connection back then. No, but my dad's computer does.
My computer does. You can watch porn on the internet.
I heard.
I always watch big black ladies online.
I start regretting that I asked him about it.
There's this really cool masturbation technique I discovered. Want to see it?
No, I'd rather not. He unzips his pants and stands up. Remember the laces? Rumor falls flat on his face, his dick sticking out. Teacher just stands there, fucking flabbergasted. Rumor starts pissing his pants because of all the attention. Too bad he's not wearing it. Here's the story of my success. Figured maybe you cucks could learn a thing or two. I am the highest ranking tard guard in my district. They called me Spaz Stopper Tard Dropper the Great. It wasn't always like this, though. I was always the big, strong kid who didn't have much of a brain. Everyone told me I wouldn't be much of anything, and that's where they were wrong. I landed the job as a tard guard mostly because my uncle was the principal, but it would be the job I am best suited for. The most devious tards from all around the district got sent to this one maximum security school. I was the muscle man who enforced the law. In order to be cheap tard guard, you need more than just muscle. You gotta think how a tard thinks. You gotta put yourself in their shoes and think, what would I do if I was a tard? People laughed at me because I was slow. But it was the tortoise that won the race. Then came the tard uprising. One day the janitor loses his key card. Wrangler Security thinks nothing of it because he's old and forgetful. I'm not on my usual patrol today. I'm just chilling at the front desk. Elevator opens. A tard squad of about 15 storm out of the elevator towards me. Literally shit my pants. What the fuck, are they coordinating attacks now? The first tardite comes at me like a drunken sailor, screaming something about tendies. I got into my best crouching tiger pose and swung at him just like my dad used to do to me. I yelled, I wish my mom got custody, as I swung. Dropped him like a sack of potatoes. Feels good, man, .png. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm so pumped with adrenaline I don't give a fuck. Their leader tard, James...
Man, that nigga's going full blast.
2 tardites flanked both sides of me. while one with a broken broomstick rushed me. I do a Street Fighter leg sweep and clip his shin. He's a wuss, so he falls. The one on my left screams, "No more grape juice for you!" And they charge. Remember my training, up, down, B-A-X. Quickly backstep, and both tards run head-on into each other. I rip my pants, delivering a jump kick to the temple of one tard that started tap dancing. Not bad. I bounce back and forth, screaming, "Sting like a butterfly, float like a bee." I punch the air and do a summoning jujitsu hand sign I learned from Naruto. Just a little intimidation for whatever punk makes the mistake of challenging me next. James is at the back giving commands to his army. He says, "If you don't beat it out, I'm taking all the grape juice." Most of the tard squad process the consequences, except the big one. He waits a few seconds in silence. This tard is loading like a PlayStation. Finally gets it and tells me, "You go down, big boy." The colossal tard yells, "Go, Power Rangers." Mind you, I'm ranked top of my clan and have prestige 32 times in Modern Warfare 2, so Ready is my middle name. The Tardite jumps on Colossal Tard's shoulder, and he grabs two other Tardites in each hand by the legs, honestly stunned at the power level of this new Gigatard. No sweat for a pro like me, though. Gigatard starts spinning like a DJ, playing my mixtape at a bumpin' party. The few remaining Tards start chanting, "Steel's great juice." Gigatard charges me, spinning like a yo-yo. Chuck Norris.exe. I duck out of left-arm Tardite's way, but right-arm Tardite knocks me to the floor. It looks like it's the end for me. No. Think like a Tard, act like a Tard, be a Tard. I point behind them and yell, "Candies!" as loud as I can. Colossal Tard drops the two Tardites and spins around, eyes wide. I channel my inner Tard and power up like a motherfucker. My mana bar reaches full power, and I prepare for my special. I run and do a flying kick that hits him square in the back. Thanks for not swallowing, Mom. This is my finest hour. He barely stumbles forward, but trips over the Tardite on the ground. He hits the floor and gets knocked out cold. I stare into James's soul for a while I stand over his prize fighter. Tard squad retreats back down the elevator. Whole office was watching, and I get promoted. The hot chick Negan in the office shakes my hand and congratulates me. "You dirty whore." Tell my boss I want to make a movie about you, man. Call it Stop the Tard. Boss declines. Make sure none of the Tard squad gets any grape juice for a week. Go to school with large Tard population. We import them. For incoming Tards, teachers get the inside scoop. My friend's mom is a teacher, tells him to avoid the one named Michael. He wears a helmet at all times and can only grunt and say his own name, like a Pokemon. One day, scrolling through the hall, I see the Tard parade on their way back to class. We have those old school metal trash cans like they used in the WWF, pick related. Out of nowhere, Michael raises one above his helmeted head and chirps gleefully, "Very cool." Wranglers try to get him to stop. He gets a twinkle in his eye. "Very cool." He brings the trash can down like the hammer of God on the head of a disabled kid in a wheelchair, whom we call Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels begins to chimp out in his chair as garbage rains down on the other Tards who begin honking and wailing. Michael is restrained by 4 adults, all the while with an oblivious smile on his face. Be me, 8 months ago. Work unable to employ me exceeded their yearly budget. Search for a new job. Find one the next day. High Behaviors Day program. Friends say you basically get paid to swim and go bowling. Fuck it, WMB. Start first day, everyone is nice, learning the ropes. Get paired with one group including a bloke, Nathaniel. Literally a walking shell of a human. Occasionally screams and flaps his arms. Is never not dribbling. This man is simply a collection of instinctive actions. Little loud, but fuck it, he's cool. Take him to a park. Nathaniel wanders a little, arms gently flap according to wind speed and trajectory. He's alright. Turned my attention to 3 other clients for literally 30 seconds. No one told me Nathaniel is a chronic public masturbator. Enjoying the sunshine and breeze, turned around. Nathaniel, no! In the 30 seconds unsupervised, Nathaniel is pants down, on a swing, raging erection out, vigorously humping his hand while shouting, In a panic, I sprint over. Literally the biggest dick I've ever seen. I attempt to stop him, but he just gets angrier. I get a grip on his forearm, establish control, and get him the fuck away from the children's playground. Nathaniel returns to gentle moaning and arm clapping. I start to realize this day program is seriously flawed. New assignment, take a group out for lunch in a park. Too easy.flv. 3 autistic guys and a guy in a wheelchair. The autistic guys are chill. Wheelchair man, Steve, can be abrupt at times, but I don't mind him. Arrive at the park. Children frolicking, the sun is out. Get Steve on ground level. Supplies lunch. Fuck, I get paid for this? We're sitting by 3 children playing Nintendo DS. Their parents are 40 meters away. Sitting there feeding the gulls my bread crust. Behind me I hear a faint yet gentle, "Oh, gosh." Nobody told me Steve is a pedophile. Steve has a massive hard-on. Head back, eyes closed, rubbing the outside of his crotch. He has transcended into another dimension. Try not to panic, kids. Firmly say, "Steve, stop." He snaps out of his animalistic dimension. Furiously, he tells me to back up there. My request has interfered with his orgasm. Fuck, parents are coming, need to bail. Quickly grab the back of his wheelchair and flee. Steve won't stop screaming, all the while the head of his dick is sticking out of his trousers. Literally throw his limp body onto the bus and peel off. Be in year 9, Brit fag. Changing for PE in the boys' changing room. About 30 of us changing at once. One of them was Lewis. None of us were sure what was wrong with him, possibly Asperger's. Whilst Lewis was changing, one of the boys noticed Lewis was wearing SpongeBob shorts under his school trousers. "Hey, look at Lewis's shorts, he's gay." A few people laughed, most didn't, myself included. But everyone was looking at Lewis now. Lewis stood there with a blank expression on his face. It was clear he didn't know what to do with all this attention. Out of nowhere, Lewis pulls down his shorts, revealing a flaccid penis, which must have been 10 inches long. Everyone just loses their mind, shouting and laughing at this tort's incredible package. He starts snorting like a pig. What? Due to all the commotion, the PE teacher runs in and shouts, "What the hell is going on in here?" Everyone goes quiet. Teacher stares at naked Lewis. Naked Lewis stares at teacher. Eye contact. Massive erection forms in the space of 5 seconds. Raging 14 inches. "Keep it down, boys." Teacher walks out. Be me. Work with retards at school. Easy A. First day of trimester. Wear my cowboy Halloween costume to school. Walk in first period. Walk up to my teacher. Pull out my fake lasso. Throw it out on the downs we need. Whisper in teacher's ear. "I'm the Tard Wrangler." Suspended for 1 week. Worth. Be me. Professional Tard Wrangler. Work potato school. Most tards don't speak in an audible language. They prefer screeching. Wave. Wrangling my favorite of the tards because I like it. We will call him Chad. Cool kid.jpg. Probably doing math made for kindergartners. He is high school friend. Chad had been student of the month for every month that I worked with him. While we were doing math, I thought it would be a good idea to look up across the classroom. Fellow Tard Wrangler was slacking off. LazyBitch.png. Insert other Tard into the class. To protect the not-so-innocent, he shall be referred to as Big Dick Larry. His dick literally looks like Larry from VeggieTales. Background on Big Dick Larry. This nigga couldn't control his bladder to save his life. When this tard needed to go, he fucking went. Pants down and golden rain, no matter where he was or what the circumstances were. Also liked wearing socks on his hands like the potato he is. Also loved smacking his own head. I think he viewed his autism as a power level, and this fucker was leveling up. So as I was saying earlier, I decided to look up and stare at the lazy tard wrangler's glorious glutes. Dadass.fmv. At the same time, Big Dick Larry decides to rip off his pants and show off his massive 10-inch tard boner. As if this was a movie, my sister in wrangling turned around to witness the horror. This nigga decides to let the golden showers flow onto his lazy wrangler, refusing to move his stream as a show of dominance. My side potato, Chad, decides to slap my arm to try and get my attention. He is laughing hysterically at the whole ordeal. The lazy tard wrangler with 8 out of 10 ass decides to flee the room in shame. Big Dong Billy begins smacking his head in celebration of the victory. Day goes back to normal. I love my job. Being 6th grade, quiet, listless child. Local tard was named Julian. My friend Nick hated him. Julian was swinging on the swings during recess once, and Nick takes a 4-square ball and nails him in the back with it. It's raining tards. Julian falls off the swing and eats shit on the gravel. Gets up, face has a ton of scratches, and he's getting teary. Nick says, "Oh, look at him, guys, he's crying."
Jupiter's immense gravity should pull Earth and Venus along with it. Earth and Venus's orbits should stretch and overlap with each other. It's a collision waiting to happen. Except it didn't.
So by the fact that we're talking about this here on Earth suggests that Earth and Venus didn't have an impact early in the solar system when Jupiter and Saturn were migrating.
Something appears to have protected us.
Scientists think something yanked Jupiter into a different orbit before it had a chance to pull Earth and Venus on a collision course. But what could cause such a large jump in Jupiter's migration? This is where the ice giants enter the story.
Getting Jupiter to make a big jump in its migration is not easy. So the best way that the models have been able to actually recreate this jump is to have Jupiter actually eject something the size of Neptune out of the solar system entirely. Jupiter has a lot of gravity, and if you get too close to it, you're going to be accelerated as you fall in towards Jupiter. And it's possible that you can eject a planet completely out of the solar system this way. It's basically slingshotting it.
But a planet the size of Neptune is heavy, even for Jupiter. And slingshotting it out of the solar system gives Jupiter a kickback. Jupiter is knocked into a new orbit, and Earth is saved. But which ice giant sacrificed itself for us? Neptune's still in the solar system. and so is Uranus.
If you use computer models to basically predict the behavior of the planets, what you find is that if you start with Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, you can't save the Earth without ejecting either Uranus or Neptune. But they're there, so we know that's not right. However, if you add a third ice giant, a fifth giant planet out there, then that actually makes everything work. You can save the Earth, have the planets in their present configuration, and that ice giant gets ejected from the solar system.
Imagine our solar system starts with 3 ice giants. One swings too close to Jupiter. Our solar system's bullet throws its victim clean out of the playground. Jupiter is pushed into a new orbit by the ice giant's gravity. Earth is saved from Jupiter's deadly gravitational pull, and the solar system becomes the safe and ordered place we see today.
So we have a funny story here. This ice giant that may have existed billions of years ago yanked Jupiter back into the outer solar system, preventing it from destroying the Earth. But in the meantime, it sacrificed itself for us, getting ejected from the solar system. We have to thank it for our existence, but it's not there anymore.
We humans are really lucky. Had the dinosaurs not gone extinct, we wouldn't be here. Had this planet not been ejected out of our solar system, we wouldn't be here.
So where is this missing ice giant now?
The answer is pretty amazing. It could be clear across the other side of the Milky Way galaxy. The sun moves around the Milky Way galaxy at about 500,000 miles an hour, and in the history of the Earth, we've been around about 20 times. We could have lost that planet anywhere across the Milky Way.
But is this third ice giant really lost? Or just hiding? January 2016. Astronomers at Caltech make an astonishing announcement. They claim to have found evidence of a mysterious ninth planet disrupting icy bodies far out of the Kuiper Belt. Simulations suggest that if this so-called Planet 9 exists, it is similar in size to Neptune and Uranus. Could this be Earth's savior?
Could the solar system's primordial, missing, sacrificial ice giant be Planet 9? Yes, it could.
Perhaps the third ice giant wasn't ejected from the solar system after all.
One type of ejection is when you just take something and you throw it out of the solar system. But another, more gentle kind, is when you don't quite make it all the way out, and instead you go on a very, very long period orbit around the young solar system.
Planet 9 is thought to be so far out, it takes up to 20,000 years to travel around the sun.
Perhaps it's been observing the dramatic dynamical evolution of the solar system unfold from its frigid 20,000-year orbit.
Whether Planet 9 is a long-lost sibling or not, ice giants played a huge role in taming Jupiter. They made our solar system the haven it is today. But they are not peaceful places. Somehow, out in the deep freeze, Neptune is tormented by wild weather, mysterious superstorms, maybe even diamond rain. Uranus and Neptune, their location at the edge of our solar system makes them very difficult to study.
The ice giants, Uranus and Neptune, are very mysterious to us. They're very far away, so they're hard to observe with telescopes here at the Earth.
As a result, these planets have long been overlooked. The only time we glimpsed these distant giants close up was when Voyager 2 flew past them in the 1980s. The results amazed Heidi Hammel, part of the Voyager 2 imaging team, at the time of the Neptune flyby.
One of the most wondrous and frustrating things about planetary flybys is that you learn so much that you open a whole Pandora's box of questions.
One observation instantly intrigue scientists. Neptune has the fastest winds in the solar system.
Here on Earth, our winds are actually driven by different temperatures from sunshine. Neptune is so far away from the sun that it receives almost no energy from our star.
Neptune is 3 billion miles from the sun. It's really cold there. So why does it have such fast winds?
The less energy a planet receives from the sun, the quieter we expect its weather to be. But Neptune isn't tranquil at all. It's covered in massive, violent storms.
There are storms that are rivaling the size of the inner planets. That's a pretty big storm.
One of the largest ever recorded on Neptune is known as the 1989 Great Dark Spot, a single vast tempest large enough to swallow the Earth whole, riding on a jet stream with a mind-blowing wind speed of 1,500 miles per hour.
Hands down, Neptune holds the record for the fastest wind speeds in the solar system.
The fastest tornado winds on Earth are only a few hundred miles an hour, and that does devastating destruction. So it's hard to imagine what winds on Neptune would do.
A probe entering Neptune's upper atmosphere would record freezing temperatures, minus 370 degrees Fahrenheit, too cold to generate the wind we see. 600 miles down, though, the probe is smashed by Neptune's relentless jet stream winds. And the deeper you go, the warmer it becomes.
Neptune has almost 3 times as much heat coming from its interior than you would expect from a ball of gas out at Neptune's distance.
The strange thing about these high-speed Neptune winds is that they're not powered by heat energy from the sun. In fact, they're powered by heat energy from Neptune's own interior.
So where does this internal heat come from?
When planets form, it's very violent, very energetic events, and the planets are actually extremely hot, and it takes billions of years for that heat to leak away. So Neptune, it turns out, probably still has a tremendous amount of that heat that is trapped inside of it, and as that bubbles up, that's what's actually heating the atmosphere and driving this tremendous weather.
How does Neptune still retain so much heat? The secret lies deep below the atmosphere.
As you go down and down and down, you just find the pressure gets more and more intense until you're essentially crushed.
That atmosphere would get thicker and thicker like a fog, until suddenly you would realize that instead of an atmosphere, you were in an ocean.
Neptune has a super dense fluid mantle made up of methane, ammonia, and water.
Really, an ice giant is not a solid ball of ice, but rather a moving ocean of swirling liquid material.
This swirling liquid traps the heat, acting like a blanket, insulating the core. This is the secret to Neptune's wild weather. And the intense heat and pressure inside Neptune's methane-rich mantle may create another extraordinary effect.
The pressure is so intense that the methane breaks up, and methane is made of carbon and hydrogen. So if you take carbon and you compress it a lot, you could get diamond formation. And so it is entirely possible that literal diamonds are raining down in this ocean of the mantle fluid on Neptune.
From superstorms to diamond rain, Neptune is strange, dynamic, beyond expectation. But Uranus is the real mystery, the victim of a cosmic 1-2 punch, with seasons unlike anything else in the solar system. January 1986. Voyager 2 approaches Uranus at over 40,000 miles per hour. Astronomers have been waiting for this moment for 8 years. But on Voyager's arrival, all that's revealed is a bland, pale blue ball.
That was a little bit disappointing from my perspective as a scientist studying the atmosphere of the planet.
20 years later, everything changes. Telescopes reveal huge storms raging across the planet. Why the enormous difference? The answer lies in the planet's extreme axial tilt.
If Neptune and Uranus are siblings, Uranus is definitely the wonky sibling.
All the planets are tilted with respect to the solar system. The Earth is 23 degrees, Jupiter is just a handful of degrees, but Uranus is actually on its side. It's tipped 98 degrees.
Uranus's tilt is almost 4 times more extreme than any other planet in the system. It's lying so its poles are horizontal, and its rings and moons are vertical relative to the plane of the solar system. Earth's tilt gives it its seasons. Uranus's extreme tilt gives it extreme seasons. Twice a year, its poles are pointed directly towards or directly away from the sun. So each pole has a very intense period of midnight sun and a dark, cold polar night. It takes Uranus 84 Earth years to orbit the sun, so those seasons last for a very long time.
You get like 20 years of sunlight in the northern hemisphere as it's going around the sun, and 20 years of darkness in the southern hemisphere.
Uranus is kind of like Game of Thrones. You're waiting ages for winter to come, and then winter lasts 20 years.
A winter's night, or a summer's day that lasts for decades. So what happens in the interim? When the orbit of the planet means the sunlight hits its spinning equator rather than one of its poles.
When it's off to the side, the whole planet's lit up. As it spins, every piece of the planet is exposed to sunlight.
Sunlight hits the equator of the spinning planet, pumping energy onto the surface, warming the atmosphere, and driving air currents around the planet. The result, spring and autumn storms.
That extreme change in how much sunlight is distributed across that planet's atmosphere probably has an important role in driving this remarkable seasonal change we see in Uranus's atmosphere.
Unlike its ice giant sibling Neptune, Uranus has seasonal storms rather than constant ones. So why does Uranus roll around the sun while other planets spin like tops? It goes against everything we know about planetary formation.
In some ways, forming new planets in the solar system was a lot like making cotton candy. There was a direction that everything was coming together. If you put a stick down in it, the material would accumulate around it in a certain direction. So that's why all the planets had roughly the same orbital axes.
If Uranus started out with a vertical orbital axis, how did it end up flipped on its side?
We know there were a lot of collisions between planets or planet-sized objects in the early solar system. It's natural to assume that Uranus probably got hit as a grazing impact from another giant object, which tipped it over on its sun.
But there's a problem with this assumption.
If you hit Uranus with a single impact to knock it over to 98 degrees, then actually what you expect is that the rings left over will be orbiting in the wrong direction relative to the spin of the planet.
What event could be powerful enough to flip a planet, but gentle enough to bring everything in orbit around it along for the ride?
A single big collision is probably not what happened to Uranus. because that would have been too disruptive. It's kind of like boxing. Instead of one big knockout blow, it was an old 1-2.
One theory, the newly formed Uranus is hit by a protoplanet the size of Earth. This blow is only glancing. Uranus is now part way towards its current tilt. Its ring system survives the impact and stays in orbit around the equator. As the second object hits, Uranus is tipped all the way, and the rings follow.
Uranus got jabbed and then knocked on its side.
Uranus may orbit the sun sideways, but Neptune's moon Triton has an even stranger trajectory. It travels around Neptune in reverse. But weirder than that, it seems to be erupting, and it could even harbor life. Wherever we see planets, we expect to see moons. It seems the larger the planet, the more moons orbit around it. Jupiter has 6.
There we go, folks. We've upgraded as much as we could.
Next come the ice giants. Astronomers have so far detected 27 moons round Uranus and 13 round Neptune. But one stands out completely. Neptune's moon, Triton.
Triton is a bit of an oddball, because instead of orbiting Neptune in the same direction that Neptune spins,